All right, welcome to the Houston High School Huddle State Semifinal Edition. Matt Stepp from Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football. I'm the Wizard. We are talking state semifinals in the Houston area, but we don't get to the state until we get through the regional finals. And the team that got through the regional finals that I want to talk about, and we'll talk about more later on when we get down to 3As, those East Bernard Brahmas, walked like a dog in the first meeting. They walked them all over the field, beat them by half 100. They had the leash ready for them for the second one. They're like, no, we'll walk ourselves. Got the victory. Talk to me about East Bernard.
Yeah, Jeremy Jenkins has done a fantastic job there. This is a team that started out the season 0-3.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had buried him. I didn't bury him, but I thought, okay, maybe it's just a down year for them. They win 6 in a row, and then they play Tidehaven in the final regular season game and just get obliterated. David Lucio's ball club just destroys them 59-6. And they needed a miracle to kind of beat Poth in the second round of the playoffs. Their kind of version of the Music City Miracle at that kickoff return. Right. And then last week, they're down 31-19 in the fourth quarter. And then
wild onside kick.
First off, Dan Bartlett. Dan Bartlett, the quarterback, by the way, that's a man you can trust. Dan Bartlett.
He sounds like I want him to sell me insurance.
Yeah, that's a guy you can trust with your life insurance. With your portfolio.
Exactly.
Trust him with the portfolio. He throws a touchdown pass. Then they recover the craziest onside kick I've ever seen. Just that ball got bounced around like 7 times.
Right.
And then Bartlett makes a crazy play to throw a touchdown pass to win the game for East Bernard. They get an interception to seal it. What a win for that program, and congrats to them. What a great run. Really disappointing for Tidehaven. I think this was the team that a lot of folks in Tidehaven thought could win a state championship, and so it's a tough pill to swallow for the Tigers. But David Lucio's ball club will be back. Don't worry. That's a program down there. They'll be back.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of teams that we plugged into the state semifinals across the state. Most of them made it. Mm-hmm. Tidehaven's one that didn't. If you think of North Texas, Argyle's probably one that I thought was going to have a matchup with South Oak Cliff. They didn't, but everybody else kind of played the course here. We're at the spot here where we're expecting to see some of these teams, and we have 4 teams left, unless you're a Houston reacher and want to reach out and grab Port Arthur Memorial. We got 4 squads left.
You're gonna pull Professor Diggs on. You're gonna pull a Diggs on us here and throw Port Arthur in.
We're gonna have him on the show this week, for sure. We probably won't give him but 30 seconds, but since they're gonna play in the backyard there at Legacy, we'll pull them in. You got to see them live. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Let's go through these brackets real quick, and then we'll go over everything until we get down to 6-man. But 6A. Division I, our Final Four is Allen and Duncanville, North Shore and Lake Travis. Let's start with North Shore and Lake Travis. It's one of our few squads left. North Shore, like we said last week, they lost to South Oak Cliff. People put them off into the shadows. Just leave them in the shadows there. Then they get work their way out, get shut out by Summer Creek, get pushed back a little bit more. But the teams that we were crowning and the coaches were crowning, Ridgepoint, Dickinson, they had to go through North Shore. They couldn't do it, just like every other year. They just could not do it. Talk to me about how they're playing and your thoughts against an undefeated Lake Travis squad.
They're playing great for me. That was a great performance. One of the best games I've seen in the Willie Gaston era last week against a really good Dickinson team. Caleb Maryland was unreal. And I loved the patience and the play calling from North Shore. He stuck with the running. That's been a common thread with some of the North Shore games that they've lost the past couple of years. It's been they get away from the running game and they kind of panic play call. They stuck with what they do well. They made plays. Their defense doesn't have the stars, but this is kind of just an east side nasty defense that I like. They get after you. They make plays. Caleb Maryland at quarterback continues to get better. This is a team. I thought 2024 North Shore peaked like in week 1, week 2, week 3, and didn't get any better.
Right.
This is a North Shore team that didn't look great in week 1. They've gotten better just about every week. The Summer Creek game, I think, is a little bit of an aberration, but other than that, they've gotten better and better and better. They're playing their best football at the right time. Yeah, this Lake Travis team is weird because you think of Lake Travis, they've had a Division I quarterback every year since 2006. They're innovators in the spread offense and what they do offensively. They throw it all around. This is a Lake Travis team that's really led by their defense. Carter Buck, Ben Duncombe, TCU commit, Kentucky commit. 6'6", 240, both of them. They're cyborgs in defense. They make plays. They're hard to stop. Offensively, they're kind of don't mess it up, right? That's kind of
right.
They lean heavily on their defense here. So, in a lot of ways, this is a little bit of a scary football game for North Shore because this Lake Travis team has some shades of Westlake last year, kind of how they operate. I don't think they're as explosive as Westlake was last year, but kind of the same build. So has North Shore learned any lessons from that game last year? I think that's going to be a big key. I think North Shore is a better football team across the board. I think Lake Travis has the best single unit in this game in their defensive line. But I do think North Shore is better across the board. And I think as long as they don't panic, they stick with what they do well, stay the course, I think we're going to see the North Shore Mustangs back at AT&T Stadium.
I was going to say, what you've seen over them in the last 14 weeks, have you seen a team that could panic if things get a little? I know you said don't panic, but do you feel like this is a team that could panic if in the first quarter, first half they're down at 7?
I think the one time I did see it was probably the Summer Creek game.
Okay.
But other than that, they've kind of been it's been impressive. So we'll see. I like North Shore. I think they're better, but I picked North Shore to beat Westlake last year, and we saw how that went. So we'll see.
It'll be fun if they do make it because this will be one of the rare times because everybody knows I'm based up here in DFW. This will be the rare time I shoot North Shore's first game and then their last game. So I'll be able to compare 1 to 16 and see how that goes. If they do make it, who do you think they're going to play?
I actually like Allen over Duncanville.
Okay.
I think Allen's a little more complete. Duncanville's done a great job kind of duct taping it, smoke and mirrors and a little bit of things. And the funny thing is North Crowley the week before had kind of done the same thing. Talk to North Crowley now, they kind of held it together with duct tape and chicken wire and kind of, had to manage their way through, and Allen kind of exposed them. Duncanville's kind of doing the same thing on offense. They're doing a lot of stuff in the running game with their receivers just to get them the ball and snapping it to them. They've got a backup quarterback playing. I think Allen may just be a little bit more complete and exposes Duncanville here. So I like Allen. So I think we're going to get an Allen North Shore State Championship game.
The way you're talking about Lake Travis, it almost kind of feels like a Allen type team because their defensive line, their defense is what's holding it together there for Allen. And I'm only going back to the Louisville game where they won the game because of the defense. Otherwise, they would have lost that game. And there's been a couple games along the road here where their defense has really outshined the fact that they have a Trent Dilfer type quarterback, I would say. It's somebody that's just managed to kind of putting it together. I'm not going to say Jeremiah Dowd's is a porous, but I am going to say I wouldn't want him to make a play at the end of the game because I'm a little nervous about that.
I don't think Allen wants him to win the game for them. I just think they have to tell him don't lose it for us.
Got you. That would be fun. 6A Division II. Hey, we got another Houston squad in there. CE King is in there. Man, I thought we were going to see. Okay, maybe that's another team I thought was going to be in the round of the Final Four, and each one was Summer Creek, but it didn't make it because Deion Sims didn't want them to make it. This is a CE King team, a step that I talked to Deion Sims before the season started, and my only questions really were how are you going to get that spot away from Kingwood? I know you guys didn't make the playoffs last year. I know you're eager to get – and he laughed at me. He said, man, I ain't worried about Kingwood. We're trying to go far. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. You are in the same district with Atascocita, Summer Creek, and North Shore. I ain't worried about all that. Well, he's not worried. We're still playing. Week 15, they're going up against the defending champs. Your thoughts on that one? And I think you said you might be at this joint.
Yeah, so I will be at this game Saturday night at 6 at Baylor. If on Thursday you'd have popped the score up and just said 24-21, CE King, Summer Creek, who wins? I'd have told you Summer Creek wins.
Oh, absolutely. That game. Yeah.
CE King won a game that's not usually a CE King type win. So that's really impressive. They won a game where maybe they didn't have their best offensive game. Sims in the second half kind of went off and did a great job, but really CE King's defense, which has at times given up a lot of points, stepped up and played in my opinion, their best game of the year. I think CE King is going to have, Vandergrift's a tough customer because they're a playoff pedigree. They play great defense. They're sound. They've been here before. And they're the defending champs. And here's the other thing. Vandergrift kind of has Houston's number.
Yeah.
In state semifinals, they're 2-0 versus Houston teams. They beat Katy in 2022. They beat Summer Creek last year. On paper, CE King's the better football team, I think. I think CE King's the more talented football team.
This is new territory, yeah.
This is new territory for them. They haven't been here before. And here's the other thing. This is their first trip out of town. They're leaving Houston.
Good point.
Vandergrift They go to San Antonio and play. They went to AT&T Stadium last year. They played in Waco last year. They're used to this. This is new for CE King. I think on paper, CE King's the better team, but I'm going with the playoff pedigree here and taking Vandegrift because I just think they're a hard team to beat in the come playoff. They've won 10 playoff games in a row.
Yeah. And it's got to be a complete game for CE King because they got to play all 4. We saw what happened last year when Summer Creek played 1. They were up 14-0. I was like, all right.
And they didn't bury him. They let Vandegrift hang around, and Vandegrift bit him.
I was like, I'm free to go. Stepp dapped you up and left, and all of a sudden, halfway home, I'm like, uh-oh. Didn't turn out the way I thought it would. The speed there at CE King, man. Speed, and more speed. We're going to talk a lot about
the fastest team in the state. They're the fastest team in the state.
Yeah, it's just wild. And to see – that was a good point you made. To see them win a lower scoring game because you look at the top half of the bracket, those are the kind of scores we expected out of CE King. Top half, we got South Lake Carroll and DeSoto. I want to say, unfortunately, was at the DeSoto Willis game. The thing was ugly. I didn't enjoy myself because of all the mess that was going on in that. Where South Lake Carroll is a different animal they're playing. DeSoto's playing, and if they get off the hinges there like they did against Willis, you can wrap that thing up.
Yeah, I mean that DeSoto Willis game. So we'll talk about that a little bit because Willis is a Houston team. Yeah. And let's just put the cards out on the table, right? DeSoto and Willis don't like each other.
No,
the players don't like each other. I don't think the coaches really like each other all that much. There's no love lost there, and it was an ugly, chaotic football game to put it nicely. DeSoto can't play that way, and expect to beat South Lake Carroll. Sarad Baker was unbelievable, and all credit to him. He had a great game, 7 touchdowns, and Willis just couldn't deal with him. DeSoto is going to have to figure something else out to beat South Lake Carroll. If you're just leaning on Baker, I think South Lake will find a way to get a stop or two. And I don't know if DeSoto's defense is going to be able to slow South Lake Carroll down. So I've had South Lake Carroll's the number 1 team in the state all since preseason, and I'm sticking with them, so I'm taking the Dragons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think in this bracket, we're going to get a rematch of last year's state championship game.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see it not a rematch. I'd like to see it one of those teams going to see King.
For the purpose of this podcast, like
it's to be truth tellers. I got you. Yeah, exactly. Our purpose is to be truth tellers. He's telling you his truth. Also, kudos to Javion Martin, by the way. It was the first time I really got to see him. But he was one of the best players. I'm just about said the best player in the field, and I just forgot you said Baker 382 and 7 touchdowns, and Jermaine Bishop did his thing too. But they ran one route to him all game long. I think he had 10 catches, and he's just a big man. University of Houston's getting a good one there.
He's a great player, yeah.
All right, 5A Division I. Technically, Houston doesn't have a squad in it, but we got Port Arthur Memorial trying to knock off this defending champs, Smithson Valley. And up top, we got Aledo versus Lone Star. Why don't you run down Port Arthur's chances here in this game?
Well, Port Arthur's talented. They're fast. Amonte Martin, the TCU commit, Kevon Roberts, the U of H commit at receiver. They've got a linebacker going to A&M and a corner. They're talented. Port Arthur is talented. But much like I talked about with CE King and Vandegrift, Smithson Valley's been here before. They have the pedigree. They play sound defense. They held New Braunfels to 41 yards rushing on 23 carries last week. They just smother you on defense. They're not real flashy on offense, but they get the job done. Port Arthur, the concerns I have with Port Arthur, the secondary struggled a little bit in the game against Barbers Hill, and they had a lot of penalties. Can't do that against Smithson Valley, especially it's your first time in this moment. So I think Smithson Valley, just with the pedigree, wins this football game. But I think I'd love to see Port Arthur Memorial win because I think having Port Arthur at AT&T Stadium will be a fun crowd.
It would be good for the DFW community, or what, not community, but I'm looking at the landscape there to get paid up there. By the way, shout out to Barbers Hill, man. They kept 5A Division I alive for a lot longer than I thought when LaPorte and Angleton went out in the first round. So I'm going to give them their props there.
Yeah, great season at first-year head coach Cody Semper. Now they're probably off to Class 6A, and we'll see how it goes at realignment.
The word I was looking for was economy, by the way. I can't figure out these words that I'm trying to say. Sometimes
words are hard, Wizzy.
Words are very hard. What do you think about up top there? Aledo against Lone Star.
Classic offense versus defense. You got that lockdown Aledo defense against that flamethrower Frisco Lone Star offense. I think Frisco Lone Star is a fun football team, but I ain't picking against Aledo in the state semifinals. So I'm going to go with the Bearcats.
I'm not either because Alito has proven they can score as
so
well.
I think we'll get a rematch of the 2023 state championship of Alito and Smithson Valley.
Gotcha. And Alito going to try to finish the job that Highland Park couldn't. All right, 5A Division II. Boy, I hate doing this, but in my mind, get me to the final. Get me to Sock and Richmond Randle. If it happens, tell me Richmond Randle's chances against Bernie, or maybe I should say Bernie's chances against Randle, because that's speed on both sides of the ball for Randle. With Pac-Man and that front seven, a quality front seven there at Richmond Randle. And I believe most of them are coming back for the next year, except for Pac-Man.
Yeah, this Randle defense doesn't have, Pac-Man's the star, but they're not quite as loaded as they were last year in the front. The secondary is really good. Iowa Colony is a really, really, really good football team. They are going to be so happy when Randle goes to Division I next year. Is
that what's happening?
Yeah, there's get rid of
the only team they lose to, right, for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and Landon Williams-Callis had another monster game. Tyler Scribonic continues to play well, except for turnovers.
Pick 6, yeah.
He threw 2 interceptions. You got to cut that out, especially if you're going to get to the championship game. Bernie is a good offense. Grant Sweeney had they beat Alamo Heights 56-49, scored a touchdown late in the last 10 seconds to win the game. Their quarterback, Grant Sweeney, who was supposed to be the backup, because Bernie's quarterback transferred to Arkansas when his dad got hired to be a coach at Arkansas, and he's stepped in and been great. Bernie's offense is very, very good, but they haven't seen anything like Randle. That speed advantage is going to be a real disadvantage for Bernie here. I think it's a little closer than last year, especially because Randle lost the flip and the game is at the Alamo Dome. Yeah. But I still think Randle wins comfortably here.
I was going to say, what makes me nervous about Bernie is that 49 sitting next to Alamo Heights. If you're going to give it 49 there, that could easily turn into 79.
Agreed.
You can ask who was a Bastrop. You can ask Bastrop all about that. Take your 83 and get on back up to where you came from. What do you think about the top game, which is an interesting thing there? South Dakota Cliffs playing Melissa at the Cotton Bowl. They're opening the Cotton Bowl and playing on some natural grass.
Yeah, playing on grass would be really cool. Have a big playoff game at the Cotton Bowl. Love to see it. I think Melissa does match. South Dakota Cliff took care of P&G last week, 28-0, but it wasn't. That was 14-0 going into the fourth quarter. P&G's defense did a good job. Melissa matches up in the trenches with South Dakota Cliff. Like, South Dakota Cliff's not going to dominate Melissa in the trenches. The problem I think Melissa runs into is offensively, they're not diverse enough. I mean, it's really quarterback, Brett Holloway at quarterback or bust.
Right.
And I think a one-trick pony like that against South Oak Cliff is not the way to go. So I think we're going to get – speaking of rematches, I think we're going to get Sock and Richmond Randle in the state championship once again.
And that's 11 a.m., right, Friday morning?
Saturday morning.
Yeah. That'll be a fun one. That'll be fun. The show up here in Dallas really upset some South Oak Cliff fans for not taking a camera and sending it down to Bryan, Texas. They didn't want to talk to me all year, but, boy, they had some things to say there. I glorify all the other teams, but not South Oak Cliff.
They'll be all
right. I'll go out there to Cotton Bowl. We'll make sure we'll get it make good right there.
There you go.
All right, we don't have any squads here, but we do have Lavernia in there who played in one of our districts there with Bay City and all them. Tell me their chances against Kilgore in 4A Division I.
Probably not great. Kilgore is Debo arrived at Fort Ben Crawford. Kilgore took care of Fort Ben Crawford 30-3.
Took the chain.
Another rematch. Kilgore and Lavernia played last year. They played in the Houston area last year, and Kilgore beat them, I think, 35-13. This game this year is Friday night at Baylor. I think the Kilgore Bulldogs are going back to the state championship game. I like Kilgore. That top matchup, Salina and Stephenville. You talk about pedigree,
right?
About 15 state championships between these two programs. It's going to be a packed house up there in North Fort Worth, and they play a full house. Salina's got their star quarterback, Bo Bentley, who did not finish the Oklahoma signee, did not finish last week's game with an injury. I'm assuming he's 2 in a row he hadn't finished. I'm assuming he'll try to play this week.
Yeah.
I just think Salina matches up with Stephenville, and I mean Stephenville matches up with Salina, and I think Stephenville ends. Salina's got a 30-game winning streak here, and I think Stephenville ends that streak. They played in the 2023 playoffs, and Stephenville beat them 7-3.
Oh wow!
So Stephenville
I can't remember where that game was.
I think it was at Newsom, I think.
Okay.
This is going to be a great ball game, but I think Stephenville's the best team in the state in 4A Division I. I like the Jackets.
Yeah, with your boy Trot there at quarterback. He's doing
Trot Jordan.
Trot Jordan. All right, 4A Division II. We got those East Texas boys still out there. Carthage, they don't ever lose, though. I mean, that's one of those deals. I'll talk to you in May, and you're like, okay, Carthage will be in the state title. I got to figure out all the rest of them. And sure enough, it looks like it could very well be the case. I know Brock doesn't back down from any kind of fight.
No, Brock's great. They're 14. Brock's not trailed all year. They're 14-0 and haven't trailed all year. But, man, Carthage, different animal with KJ Edwards, Texas A&M signee, Junior Henderson, the Mississippi State signee, those 2 D1 linebackers and a 3-year starter at quarterback. And you got Scott Surratt. He's 84-8 in the playoffs.
That's a record right there. That sounds like a Richmond Randle score. That's his record.
Carthage head coach Scott Surratt has lost 8 playoff games.
That's crazy.
And he's won 10 state championships. He has more state championships than playoff losses.
That's ridiculous.
Carthage.
That's ridiculous.
I think Brock keeps it close, but I ain't picking against Carthage here. Give me Carthage.
What about down here with WOS against Sinton, which I spelled right this time, by the way?
You did. Good job, Sinton. Sinton is looking for their first state championship appearance since 2001.
Wow.
You know who beat Sinton in the state championship game that year?
West Orange?
No, Everman. Come on.
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
He said,
E-block.
No, Everman. Real quick, he clipped me down. No.
There you go. But Sinton and West Orange Stark did play in the state semifinals in 2015, and West Orange beat them 42-21. Sinton is one of the really good team out of Corpus Christi, a tradition-rich program, and they stopped the run really well, which is what you have to do to try to slow down West Orange Stark and Kelby Jefferson. They're 5'3", 165-pound running back who's a fire hydrant and tough to stop. So Sinton, this game's going to come down to Sinton's defense. Can they stop the run? If they can stop the run, Sinton's got a chance. Sinton's got a great running back in Micah Green and a quarterback in Quincy Bess. But I'm going West Orange Stark. I think their defense, and I think Kelby Jefferson gets rolling. So I think it's going to be a West Orange Stark Carthage state championship.
Interesting. That'll be a Friday game. That should be a good one. 3A Division I, we lost our boys. Columbus could not. We lost both of our boys. Columbus
and couldn't get it done.
Now you saw Ashley Pickle's squad right down there at the bottom.
Yeah, she's fired up. She's talking mad noise. Edna had a 35-17 lead on Llano in the third quarter, and Llano came all the way back to win. Scored the last 21 points of the game to win. They're looking for their first state championship appearance in school history. Yoakum avenged their district loss to Columbus. They kind of out Columbus a little bit, and kind of Xavier Barnett, the SMU commit, had a great game for Yoakum. Yoakum's got a ton of team speed, a ton of athleticism. They got a big-time freshman running back who will have all kinds of D1 offers in Jamarquis Robinson. I think Yoakum's team speed is a little bit too much for Llano here. Give me the Yoakum Bulldogs. And top of the bracket here, what a great mascot matchup. You got the Greyhounds taking on the Zebras. Peaster and Grandview. Peaster started playing football in 2019, and they're in their first ever state semifinal appearance. In 4 playoff games, Peaster has allowed a total of 17 points.
Huh.
But Grandview's a really good offense. They make plays, but I go with defense here. I think we're going to get a Peaster and Yoakum state championship game.
I didn't realize about the football. That's interesting.
Peaster's a basketball.
I thought since my buddy Danny Henderson coached some championships down there in Peaster that they've been playing all sports, but I guess I'm wrong about that.
Picked up football, kind of like Brock. Brock didn't pick up football long before that.
They went to the state final that first year, right? When Brock had it, or
second year. They made the state championship game in their second year. They won it their second year.
Yeah, exactly. Down in Houston, right?
Yep.
That was when they played in
Washington. Yeah.
Look at us just throwing history out there.
They beat Cameron Yo. Sorry.
Yeah, they should have. I think that was the only DFW team to pick up a win down there. Columbus, you got to give them credit, though, man. If you told them at the beginning of the year they're going to go to the regional final with the losses they had of talent.
And their best returning skill player didn't play at all this year. Braylon Fisher, their wide receiver, who's got all the D1 offers, didn't play all year. He's hurt. So they really did. Matt Schobel did a heck of a job there at Columbus.
Good work. All right, let's go. This is the one I wanted to talk about, 3A Division II. How far can this East Bernard team go? Is now the sky the limit? Because, you talked about it at the beginning. 3 in a row losses. When they played big competition, they came up with big losses during the regular season. But now they're itching their way to wins. Can they beat Newton with that 66 score? That makes me a little nervous.
No, Newton's a big favorite in this football game. Newton is really good, Wizzy. Newton's got one loss on the year. That one loss was to West Orange Stark. who we just talked.
Give me some positive for East Bernard. How can they, if they were to win, what's going to happen? I know you're going to say Newton, 3 of their buses get lost.
They're going to have to force some turnovers, and I think they're going to have to force Newton to throw the football. Newton is not a pass-first team, but they've got three big-time running backs, Kendra Porter, Deldrick Samuel, and then Cavlin Hunter. They all rotate around. Their defensive line is – they got to block that nasty front four that Newton has. Newton's got a ton of team speed and athleticism. Tall. I mean, Newton – they lost to West Orange Stark in the season opener by 8, and West Orange Stark is a 4A school playing in the semifinals.
Right.
So this Newton team is elite. I don't know if East Bernard's got another rabbit they can pull out of the hat. I think Newton wins big here.
All right. Well, we'll come back to this next week and see how right you were. You look at the top half there, Wall going against Gunner. Wall looks like the favorite, even though it's a good game, even though Gunner's won 4 in a row. Your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, this is the game of the year in 3A Division II. I was at this game last year. Wall had Gunner on the ropes and let him off the hook. I don't think this time they let him off the hook. This Gunner defense still concerns me a little bit, and Wall's offense has been about as good as anyone in the state. Landon York at quarterback. I think Wall gets their revenge and knocks the 3-time state champs off.
Gotcha. I'm just thinking the same thing. As a matter of fact, we go to 2A Division I. No, I'm not being extremely broad by saying West Texas. That's the name. That's like a give up name. That's not. That's the name of the school.
So
they're playing somebody out in West Texas.
It was West Texas High opened up in 1987 as a consolidation of 3 other school districts. Okay. So I guess they just decided to not come up with a crazy name and just three small towns basically merged into one school district, and that's how they came up with West Texas High. They have some history though. They're one of the schools that consolidated with it have won a bunch of state championships. Phillips. Okay. If you know your Texas high school football history, Phillips, and that's the same Phillips, Conoco Phillips, town, a company town for Phillips Oil there. Great win for them over Cisco. They're playing Hamilton, who is the official team of Stepp and Step. For some strange reason, Hamilton's back in the state semifinals for the first time, second time in a row. They made the state semis last year. West Texas is 14-0. Hamilton's 12-2, and their 2 losses are by combined 5 points. These are 2 really, really good football teams. West Texas has a really massive offensive line for a 2A and a really good running quarterback. I like West Texas High to take down Hamilton.
What about the Refugio and Joaquin? Talk to me about that one.
Joaquin.
What I call it? Or what did you call it?
Joaquin.
All right, my fault.
Yeah,
I said
Joaquin. So Joaquin was a 4th-place team last year and made the state semifinals. They're a 3rd-place team this year, and they're back in the state semifinals. They run the slot T. We said the slot T is the devil. It's a tough offense to stop, but it's a South Texas offense, and Refugio is located in South Texas. Refugio knows how to defend the slot T. They are the number 1 team in the state of Texas in 2A Division I. Ray Lewis, not that Ray Lewis, but Refugio's Ray Lewis is an outstanding quarterback. Xander Willis at running back. Refugio's got a lot of team speed, a lot of athleticism. I think Refugio, one of Texas' most proud programs in all the state, gets back to the state championship game. I like Refugio to take down Joaquin in the Pronunciation Bowl.
It was like a decade or 2 ago they were scoring 80 points a game, right? They just went roughshod on everybody. All right, finally, let's look at Division 2A, Division 2. We got the guy, man of the hour, down there at Mount Enterprise. You're going to check that one out too, man. Enterprise and Shriner, because Ash is only 88 yards away from Texas history.
Yeah, we did the math. It's 90 yards. He needs 90 yards. So Mount Enterprise. Here's the crazy fact about Mount Enterprise. I called them. So this game is going to be played Friday night at New Caney. So if you're in the Houston area and you want to see a 75-year-old record broken, go to New Caney Friday night. Mount Enterprise and Shiner, both teams are 14-0. Mount Enterprise, Kagan Ash, the Texas Tech commit, broke Ken Hall of Sugarland High, broke his single season rushing record last week. He ran for 502 yards last week. And he also had 105 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. They beat Bremont 64-58. Ash can break Ken Hall's career rushing record with 90 yards or more on Friday night against Shiner. Here's the other crazy thing. Mount Enterprise, I called them 2A Klein.
Okay.
So we talked about Klein.
They don't punt?
They don't punt. They go for 2 every time, and the onside kick all the time.
Nice.
So Klein head coach,
team to watch. Yeah.
I called Nick Caduti, and he said he's probably coming to the game. So Caduti is the team Caduti would love. Mount Enterprise defense is a little suspect, a lot like Klein. So that's why you see these 64-58 games. But Kagan Ash is one of the most fun players to watch. He's worth the price of admission. Shiner, though, man. Shiner is a program. They played for the state championship last year. They're tough on defense. They're not flashy. They're just brutally efficient. And they brought nearly everybody back from that state runner-up squad last year. I think Shiner knocks off Mount Enterprise and gets back to the title game, but I do think Kagan Ash gets the record.
I got you. And how about our defending champions up top there in Munster against Groover?
Yeah, Munster is this is the rematch of last year's semifinal game that Munster won pretty comfortably. Groover flipped them home and home this time and won the flip. So Munster's got to go 4.5 hours up to Canyon to play this game in the Panhandle. So Groover's got a little bit of an edge there. I think that they're a little bit better this year, but I don't think they closed the gap enough. I think Munster wins a competitive 10 to 13 point game. Case and Carney at quarterback is the man for Munster.
He is the man.
The defending state champs.
That'll be fun. And then right after that is the state finals, and that's what you always pub that as the funnest ticket around, right? You get to see so much football for such a good price. It's
a football overload. I think tickets are on sale now. But a little pro tip, you can get the tickets through the school and get a little bit of a discount. If you keep an eye on that, you can get a little discount on the tickets. I get it. It's hard, especially for a lot of our viewers and listeners are in the Houston area. It's a long road trip. If you can come to Arlington just one day,
right,
it's worth it. It's a fun day of football to see 3 state championship games. So if you have the means, I encourage you to come up to AT&T Stadium and check the games out. It's a fun football week. It's an experience unlike any other. There's a great web stream. Victory Plus will do a great job streaming it, but nothing beats seeing Texas high school football in person. That's what I'm saying. If you're in the Houston area,
if you go for that one day and you have a team,
yeah. But I mean, if you're in Houston this weekend, like get out to some games. Like there's 2 games on Thursday in the area. There's one at I think Refugio is playing Joaquin at Cy-Fair at Berry Center for Thursday night, and then at
East
Randall
Bernard's up at New Caney. Yeah,
East Bernard is at New Caney Thursday night. Friday night you've got Mount Enterprise and Shiner at New Caney. You've got 2 choices at Katy. Legacy has Port Arthur and Smithson Valley. Rhodes has West Orange, Stark, and Senton. So there's great games in Houston Friday, and Saturday you can get over to Thorne Stadium and watch North Shore and Lake Travis. So great games. So there's great web streams out there, but the weather should be nice this weekend. Get out and check out a game in person. You won't regret it.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, where will Matt be stepping out?
So Thursday night, I will be up in Iowa Park, up there north of Wichita Falls for Hamilton and West Texas High. 6 o'clock kick on Thursday. I like that.
That's why that's why they're the team of Stepp and Stepp, right?
Well, no,
you're going to go see them because you got to follow your team.
Hamilton's the team of Stepp and Stepp. Well, I'll have to explain that another time. Then Friday, I'll be in Houston. I'll be at New Caney Friday night for Shiner and Mount Enterprise. I cannot wait for that game. Then Saturday, I'll be in Waco, but I'll be watching a Houston team on Saturday. I'll be watching CE King take on Austin Vandegrift there at Baylor Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
That'll be a fun time for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then next week we'll have our final Houston High School huddle as we talk about the state final games. Get you all ready. A couple will already be in the book. Well, no, I guess we go up on Tuesday, so get you ready for Wednesday's 6-man action. So
I don't know about all that, but we'll talk 11 man for sure.
We'll talk 11 man. Yeah. Everybody's going to go up there for some of that. All right, Stepp. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Appreciate you joining us, man.
Thanks, Wizzy.